They finally did it. After more than a decade, someone has finally made a true successor to one of the greatest small flashes of all time, the Fujifilm EF-X20. So for years, whenever someone asked me for a tiny, reliable flash recommendation, this was the answer. But the problem was that this flash has been discontinued since 2019 and prices have gotten ridiculous, often 3 times the original retail price. And honestly, it's not just because of the hype behind this flash, it's really because nothing else has ever truly matched it. Until now. This is the Godox IT30 Pro, and this is now the ultimate small flash. By the way, this video is not sponsored. I bought this flash with my own money, and while Godox did offer to sponsor this video, I decided against it as I wanted to keep this review as unbiased as possible. This flash is really that good. So, if you'd like to support me and this channel, be sure to buy this flash from the links in the description, and also check out my Lightroom presets, as every photo in this video was edited with them. Now, before we get into what makes the IT30 so special, let's talk about why this little Fuji flash was such a legend, and why it's taken so long for anyone to finally beat it. So, the EF-X20 was small, compact, powerful, and beautifully made. It featured a pop-up diffuser that made direct flash photos look amazing, and the interface was simple, easy to use, and the TTL worked flawlessly with Fuji cameras. And I've used this flash on everything with a hot shoe, from old film cameras to modern digital ones. It's traveled the world with me, and some of my favorite photos have been taken with it. And sure, it has its drawbacks, mainly the terrible AAA batteries that had a tendency to drain if you left them in the flash itself, but there was simply nothing else that came close to being this compact, this powerful, and this well made. So when Fujifilm stupidly discontinued it in 2019, prices for this little flash shot up, and they now sell for around $500 to $600 used, which is absurd for what was always a $150 flash more or less at retail. I was pulling my imaginary hair out, wondering why no company had just copied what Fuji had done and given us a modern interpretation of this legendary flash. I mean, at the end of the day, this flash itself is not even original anyway. This is a copy of the Contax TLA 200 flash, except instead of using really annoying CR123A batteries, this flash goes away with them and uses the slightly less annoying AAA batteries. And trust me, I've looked. I've purchased many small flashes over the years, and none of them came close. This is the Lightpix Labs Q22. Now, this had a clever detachable design where you could unplug this and then you could use it wirelessly, but it was still quite large, and it had very clunky micro USB charging. I hate micro USB, I don't like it at all. Then there was this, the Godox TT350. Now this had decent power, but this was more of a traditional sort of speedlight style flash. And again, you know, this they use AA batteries, which is great. AA is better than AAA, but it's quite large, it's quite heavy. So using it on a camera like a Ricoh GR, for example, it looks ridiculous. Whereas the EF-X20 suited those small cameras quite a lot better. Then you had this, the Godox IA32. Now, this was an interesting auto flash. You could rotate the head inside of the little lens diffuser, which was quite interesting too. It had a PC sync port, which was great. It looked kind of cool. It used AA batteries, which is nice, very nice. Still not lithium, but whatever, it is what it is. But again, quite big, quite chunky. And then finally, it feels like Godox kind of started to go in the right direction and they released this. So this was the IM30. This flash was the same size externally as the EF-X20. It had the same great dial controls up top, but they copied the one thing I didn't like, which was using awful AAA batteries, and they didn't copy the one thing that I loved. This had no pop-up diffuser. And I just remember thinking, like, how has no one done this right? I mean, Godox, especially a company famous for making affordable, high-quality alternatives to expensive flash gear, like, you'd think they would have figured it out by now. It was like they kept getting so close, but they always missed one key ingredient. But then, they finally did it. The Godox IT30 Pro. So when I first saw this flash, I could not believe it was real. This was the same size as the EF-X20, but with modern tech. A built-in lithium battery with USB-C charging, insanely fast recycle times, a very solid construction. And what's that on the side? A pop-up diffuser. So this flash even has TTL, high speed sync, and it can act as both a transmitter and a receiver for the entire Godox system. It's like they looked at every complaint that people had about the EF-X20 and just fixed them all. Now, I purchased the Nikon version and I've been using it on my Nikon bodies for the last few months, and honestly, it has been flawless. I really don't have anything bad to say about this flash at all. And I've also used it on Fuji and Lumix, and while TTL doesn't work without the dedicated versions, it is still fantastic as a manual flash. And that is partially because of the touchscreen. So this has a very, very bright, intuitive and responsive touchscreen, but it also has a beautiful dial up the top here that makes adjusting manual power super duper easy. And the battery life is excellent. So I would routinely get between 500 to 600 flashes on half power, which for something this size is genuinely very impressive. And it quick charges over USB-C as well. And that result is a hell of a lot better than the performance that I was getting from the EF-X20, where I would probably need to change out the batteries, and that's with Eneloop Pros, which are the best AAAs that you can buy. I was getting maybe 300 shots out of that. It is unbelievable, really, really impressive. Just be sure to get the version that matches your camera brand. So Nikon, Sony, Fuji, or Canon versions do exist for full compatibility. Oh, and also a quick note, while most versions will work across brands in manual mode, the Sony version of this flash will only work on Sony cameras due to their weird hot shoe design. But here is the best part of all of this, the price of this flash. This flash costs 75 US dollars. What? Or in Australia, I paid 119 Australian dollars. That is absurd. You are getting so much flash for your money. It is so bloody good. I mean, it almost feels like it should be illegal not to own one of these. Like seriously, go and buy one because I think every kit needs to have this flash in it. It is absolutely sensational. Whether you want something that's just small so you can carry with you, or you want to use it as part of a bigger system, there is no reason I don't see not to have one of these. This is absolutely sensational, and this might genuinely be one of my favorite products of 2025. So yes, finally, after years of waiting, the EF-X20 has finally been dethroned, and the Godox IT30 Pro is the new king of small flashes. Long live the king. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week, and have a great day.